Open any social media feed and you will face a barrage of videos promising effortless ways to hack human behavior. The problem with treating these viral psychology tricks like universal life hacks is that human interactions are highly variable. Using a rigid, rehearsed script often makes you look awkward, or worse, overtly manipulative. The friction you experience when trying to influence people rarely comes from the trick itself failing. It happens because you are applying the wrong tactic to the wrong objective. To fix that, we need to sort 8 common psychological tricks based on their real-world utility. This tactical deployment flowchart maps out how we should approach them. Depending on your end goal, your objective splits down one of 3 branches. Those branches are internal optimization for self-improvement, social rapport to build frictionless connections, and hard compliance for aggressive persuasion. Mapping out your exact objective protects you. The last thing you want is to permanently damage your reputation because you accidentally deployed a high-pressure manipulation tactic on a close friend. We start with internal optimization. Tactics in this category focus strictly on changing your own behavior, carrying zero risk to your personal relationships. The first tactic here is chewing a highly distinct flavor of gum during your study sessions to improve your recall on an exam. The mechanics of this trick go back to Russian physiologist Ivan Pavlov and his stimulus-response theory. Pairing a specific sensory stimulus, like a unique gum flavor, with the heavy mental lifting of studying creates a conditioned link. Chewing that same flavor during the test triggers a physical response that assists your memory recall. The strict trade-off here is exclusivity. If you chew that same gum while watching television or driving, the flavor becomes normalized, and the memory link fails completely. The second internal tactic involves forcing a narrative about your future self to break existing bad habits. The core concept at play is cognitive dissonance. This is the distinct mental friction that occurs when your physical behaviors contradict your internal beliefs. By artificially convincing yourself that you are already the disciplined person who has achieved your goal, you intentionally create psychological discomfort. To relieve that discomfort, your brain forces your daily actions to catch up to the new narrative. While these internal frameworks offer a high return on investment for your personal growth, the cost is the immense mental discipline required to maintain the conditioning and those artificial narratives. Moving to the second category, social rapport tactics are designed to smooth out conversational friction and build a baseline level of trust. The easiest rapport tactic to deploy is strategically interjecting your conversational partner's name at the very beginning or end of your questions. Hearing our own name breaks our conversational autopilot. It forcefully pulls the listener's attention back to the present moment and directly onto you. But you have to watch out for the steep diminishing returns. Overusing someone's name instantly shifts their perception of you from charismatic to overtly salesy and creepy. The next tactic is the chameleon effect, which combines physical mirroring with rhythmic nodding during a conversation. This comparison matrix details the exact inputs and outcomes of the chameleon effect. This physical mimicry signals tribal alignment, bypassing heavy defense mechanisms to speak directly to the target's subconscious, telling them you are safe and similar. However, look at the margin for error. If the target consciously detects that you are deliberately mirroring their movements, trust is instantly shattered. Rapport tactics operate under a strict boundary. They function effectively as subtle, organic amplifiers to genuine active listening, but they fail the moment you try to use them as a replacement for it. Our final category is hard persuasion. These are aggressive tools designed specifically to extract direct compliance or specific favors. The first compliance trick is simply handing someone a physical object while you are right in the middle of a deep conversation. You are exploiting a cognitive vulnerability. Processing a heavy mental load, like following a complex story, short-circuits the brain's ability to consciously refuse a physical handoff. They will just take the item. The limitation is that it yields absolutely zero meaningful leverage. It is a novelty trick for low-stakes physical tasks, like getting someone to hold your empty coffee cup. A far more aggressive tactic is deliberately waiting to ask for a favor until your target is physically or mentally exhausted. The success rate spikes when people are depleted because their mental resistance is gone. They will agree to nearly anything you ask, simply to end the interaction and finally get some rest. The toxic trade-off here is inevitable. Extracting a yes through exhaustion breeds severe buyer's remorse and deep resentment the moment the target regains their energy. The final persuasion tactic is the door-in-the-face technique. Watch how this works. You force the target to absorb a massive rejection, which immediately makes the real obstacle look entirely manageable. By making an absurd anchor request that you know guarantees a rejection, your actual smaller request gets reframed in their mind as a reasonable concession. Hard persuasion tactics treat human interactions purely as transactional exchanges. They are highly effective at getting what you want today, but they are deeply corrosive to your long-term trust. Knowing how to execute a psychological trick is useless without understanding its relational cost. The chart maps tactics by impact versus risk. Optimizers stay left. Conditioning and dissonance offer efficacy with zero risk. Integrators use the middle. Name-dropping and mirroring are subtle lubricants. Persuaders sit top right. Door in the face and exhaustion bring immediate efficacy but severe danger. If you lean too heavily on that top quadrant, your peers will recognize the pattern. They will become immunized to your requests, rendering the tricks completely useless. Long-term social trust is fragile. When subjected to constant aggressive manipulation, the entire structure eventually splinters and collapses under the pressure. True influence is not measured by your ability to execute parlor tricks. It is measured by your wisdom in choosing which tools to deploy, and more importantly, which ones to leave in the box.